Yeah.
Okay, I think we can start now, Pak Budiono, because Cahya have the problem with the connection. So for this morning, I would like to invite Pak Budiono, Master Dean of Faculty of Public Health. Please give some opening speech before Ajahn Sutida will give the lecture. Please, Pak Budiono, give the opening speech.
Thank you very much, Pak Farid. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera sekalian. Jadi, dear Vice Dean for the Academic and Student Affairs, and of course, I respect to speaker. There is Associate Professor Sutija Chuanwan, a PhD from Institute for Population and Social Research, Michael University, Thailand. And also Associate Professor Dr. Cahya Tripurnami, Head of the Biostatistics and Population, Faculty of Public Health, Diponegoro University. And Pak Farid Lagusibana, PhD, as a moderator. Thank you very much for initiating this event. First of all, let us say praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who gives thousands of efforts to us, of us. We know that the participants are the students of the master and undergraduate program from Public Health, Faculty of Public Health, and also the lecturers. I think this event is very important to create an academic atmosphere in terms of knowledge and experience in health population, especially aging. And the most important is how to anticipate with this aging condition or the aging people. It is because I think it's related to the disease or, for example, degenerative disease for elderly people, for example, and also on other side we also have the vulnerable people such as baby or child or children. And I think at the first time we said that it is also strategic for initiate networking or collaboration may in research or saying supervisor for student of the doctoral program, for example, and also article review, for example, on the journal. Because we also have a international journal. I think the participant is very lucky. It is because you have the right speaker or right expert in this field, and Sutita Chuanwan is going to give a deep brief of the aging issues. So I hope keep concentrating and hope discuss actively. Hopefully, Associate Prof. Sutija Chuanwan, PhD, and the participant enjoy the webinar. And thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Budiono. Terima kasih. And now, maybe Pak Budiono have another program to attend. He is very busy. Maybe he has permission from you. He cannot continue to follow with us to join with this meeting, but I think it is
Thank
okay.
you very much, Pak Farid. And
okay, thank you very much.
Speaker Sutija Chuanwan, thank you very much for coming on this event or program. Sorry, we have another program also online and offline. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, matur nuwun Pak Budiono, matur nuwun. Okay, I think Bu Cahya, the head of department, is already here, but we cannot turn on his camera. Bu Cahya, oh, okay, here you are. Bu Cahya, good morning. Selamat pagi, Bu Cahya.
Good morning.
Okay, you may say hello to Ajan Sudida.
Thank you.
Good morning. Nice to meet you.
I told, yeah.
Thank you for your time to join with us to give some knowledge about the aging. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bu Cahya. Bu Cahya is Ajan N. You see that you are very similar to Indonesia.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I prefer to be a student.
Yeah. So maybe students here do not believe that you come from Thailand. So they thought that it's from Indonesia.
It seems like you are your student because
yeah, when I was there, you remember that some Ajan there speak Thai to me, but speak English to Nara.
Right. You also look like Thai.
I'm very Okay, I think the time now is for you. Please, all the participants here, Bu Cahya, please welcome Ajan Sudida Chorman to give the lecturer about the mortality and also about the elderly and aging population. Please welcome Ajan Sudida. The Zoom is yours. You can share your.
Okay, let me share the slide. All right. Okay. Everyone can see my slide, right?
Yeah, it is clear.
First of all,
you can start.
Okay. Sorry. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for inviting me to be a lecturer today, and thank you very much, Dr. Farid, to contact me. I'm very happy to be a part of this class. So I try to discuss and share my experience during I was always working on the population aging in Thailand, and also I also have an experience to work with some lecturer in other country. Maybe in the future, Dr. Farid, we can work together. So, all right, sorry, I lost my. Okay. All right. I have the outline for my presentation today. I will start with the meaning and the definition of older person. It is very important, because as you know that the definition of older person in any country is quite different. It related or it depends on the situation, and it depends on the measurements of population aging. So I will try to give you a brief, like why we need to think about the meaning and definition of older person, how to classify the definition of older person in any country. And the next, I will discuss about the measurement of population aging. Actually, there are many measurements, but I will give some important measurements that related to population aging. And then I'm going to talk about the why we need to study aging population or population aging. So why it's important. That's why I today I would like to share, and maybe I would ask you guys, like why do you think that this topic is different? Is is important now. And next, I would like to talking about the cause of the population aging and also the effect of population aging. And finally, I will summarize or summary the main thing or some key message that you can learn from my presentation today. So this is the my outline for presentation today. Let me start with the meaning and the definition of older person. As everyone know that now, most country, especially in the developed country, has the trend or the number of older person is increasing rapidly. And when we talking about population aging, actually, when we talking about aging population is quite different meaning about aging population and population aging. If we talking about aging population, it would be mean people, people who is getting who is get older, But if we talking about the population aging, it refers to the demographic phenomena that is occur in around the world that it show like people in that country is getting old. So that means population aging. But if we talking about aging population, it would mean people, is quite different in the meaning. And when we talking about the meaning of being old, actually in demography, two main dimensions that we need to discuss, it would be age and sex, right? If you are study about the demography, age and sex is the main topic of demography when we talking about the population or the demography. We need to discuss or classify by age and sex. And when we talking about the age or being old, we can divide it by three meaning. The first one is the chronological age. That is the individual age based on the calendar date. This is the following your birth date, right? So we call chronological age. This is one the first meaning of old that just follow your calendar age. Another one we can call that people are old or young. Is it following the functional age? Is that mean we can see from their biological or psychological age? We do not realize that that people are old or young by their exact age, but we follow the functional age. And another one, the meaning of being old is follow the socio-cultural definition of old age. That we can classify the old age from the society's law or expectation of that area. So that is the main meaning of being old, and it depends on your realize like some people can guess that person is being old or that person is being older person because of they realize that okay that person may be old because of their functional like their biological or their psychological age it looks old. But some people realize that people is getting old because of the society laws that that make people to be old person, something like that. So this is the three main of meaning of being old. And we also have the, we can classify the definition of older person by two main things. Like, okay, the first one, we define that age begin, when we want to realize that people to be the older person by the pensionable age. Like, okay, if that person receive pension benefits, so is that mean that person is getting old or to be an older person already? And another one is from the chronological age that I mentioned before. So this is the definition of older person. Like for Thailand, I would give some example that in Thailand, actually we have the definition of older person as the we use the chronological age by asking people from the calendar age, and actually when we try to realize that people already old, maybe we realize from the that people maybe retired already, that in Thailand we use age 60 years old and over to be as the older person and retired age. So that is the two main meaning of the older age. I also have one question asking everyone, what is the definition of older person in your country? And I also have 4 categories for everyone to choose. Like the first one, you can fill out in the you can fill some answer like 55 years old and over. If you realize that is it the definition of older person, or 60 years old and over, or 65 years old and over, or all correct. What do you think? Or anyone can answer?
Anyone can reply to Ajahn N directly. Maybe they are still ashamed.
Yeah.
I say B.
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 B. Do you have the reason why? Anyone?
Why? Anyone? Why it is 60? Kucahya, please. You can
In
you
my
can
country, in Indonesia, older person start at the 60 years old.
Okay.
In Indonesia.
In Indonesia.
Yeah, because many person had retired in work, pension.
We are retired. The retired age in Indonesia is 60 years old, and from that beginning, so we call it the elderly people.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone?
Yang lain silakan.
Any different answer?
No one.
No one. All right, that's fine. Actually, if I can ask for in terms of your country, you may know that in your country the definition of older person is like Indonesia, like a Thailand, we use the age 60 years old and over. But if I ask you guys, like for any country, actually the answer would be all correct, right? Because it depends on the country, right? And especially for the developed country, those country use the age 65 years old and over to be like a older person. No, like if you can see that it depends on the development of the country, and also like most developed country, for example, like America or like for United Kingdom, they use the definition of older person at age 60 years, 65 years old and over. And if you have any chance to see the report on like from the United Nations or from the WHO, you can see that when they report like how many percent or the number of older person, you can see that it usually use the age 65 years old and over when the report try to compare in any country. As you as Thailand, we try to extend the retirement age to be 65 years old and over. As you guys know that nowadays people can live longer. So it seems like when people age 60 years old and over, they still be active, right, Farid?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Still active in here.
Right.
Still active, yeah.
I don't mean you. just just
yeah.
yeah.
In
So,
60 years old.
Yeah. So that's why you can see that from the developed country, the meaning of the older person would be 65 years old and over. I think in the next future, in the next future year, some country like Thailand or maybe Indonesia, so we can extend the meaning of older person in the future. All right. Let me move to the next slide. Yeah, when we talking about the definition of older person, as the United Nations divided, UN divided the older person as the age 60 years old and over. So this is the indicator that related to the older person. And yeah, that as I mentioned earlier, that most developed country is many usually extend the cutoff age to 65 years old and over to be like an older person. All right. Yeah, this is the definition of older person in Thailand. As I mentioned that we use the meaning from the 2003 Older Person Act, as we mentioned that the older person is the individual whose age 60 years completed year or older and is a Thai citizen. Yeah, that would be the meaning of older person in Thailand. And yeah, as I mentioned about the definition of older person in your country, in Indonesia, use the age 60 years old and over. Yeah. Besides this, if we talking about the meaning or the definition, when we discussing about the age group of the older person, we also can classify that by 3 groups of older person, right? The first one we call young old. Young old. It means people who is 60 to 69 years or 65 to 74 years. This is because, as I mentioned earlier, that the meaning of older person is quite different from other country. So young old for the countries where give the the meaning of older person starting from the age 6 years old. So it would be, young old when people age 60 to 69. For the country that, mention the older person as, starting from the age 65 years old. So young old means 65 to 74 years. This is the first category of older person. Another one, we can say old or middle old age. It means the people who are in, sorry, maybe different. It would be 60, 69. No, actually 70 to 79 years. To be old or middle old, or 75 to 84 years. And the last group would be the oldest old. It means people who is 50 years old and older, or 85 years old. Do you know why we have to classify that by 3 age group of older person? Actually, when we talking about the older person or elderly, you guys maybe can hear frequently. Everyone can say that, okay, older person is mean elderly people. The reason is when we talking about the elderly, actually in any aspect, we cannot cover all aspect as to be as a older person. For example, when we talking about in the health aspect, uh, the people who have different age, like a young old or the oldest old, have the different health, right? Like maybe the people who are in the young old, still be active. They they still can do any activity by themselves. But when we compare to the oldest old, in that person, that people who are in the last old, like the oldest old, they have a problem in their health. So when we would like to talking about the older person, we always classify by 3 age groups. It would be like we can focusing on any symptom or any aspect that we interesting to study. So that's why we have to classify by 3 age group. This is the general text for older person. I believe that I mentioned that we can use many texts or many terms when we talking about older person or elderly. As you can see in the slide, United Nations usually use the elderly or elder person to be like an older person, right? And also some article or some report that is used age population, older population, or senior people, older adults, older person, or elders. It depends on the context that we mentioned. And usually we familiar with the term of the elderly, but in my experience, when we writing the paper, when when we submit the paper, and when I use the term of elder person as the elderly, it means like it's not good for using in the term paper. We have to change to use like an older adults or older person, something like that. So that's why I put this slide to everyone to know the term that we have to use when we want to talk about the older person or the elderly. All right, this is also another term that I will not go in deep in the detail, but I would like you to see that after age over 80 years old and over, we can classify that by any age group. Actually, in my concern, I interested in the centenarians that IPSR Institute for Population and Social Research. We have the center to correct the people who age 100 years old and over, because we believe that these people, they are like the selective people that we try to study why they can live longer, So now I try to collect all Thai people who live until age 100 years old and over, and I try to ask the factor that related to the longevity or why they can live longer until now. So it is very important, like as you know that we are living in the country that people is getting old and the number of older person is increasing rapidly. So that's why we need to see the population aging topic. All right. So that's all I would like to discuss about the definition and the meaning, that it is it's very important, that would be you guys should know before we starting in the detail of the population aging. So are there any question, or everyone is allowed to disturb me anytime when doing I presenting? All right. So I didn't hear anyone.
Maybe about definition, there is some question. Silakan, ada pertanyaan.
Or you can give some example, or you can just like present some when what the topic you concern. Yeah, maybe no question is okay.
Maybe for definition we don't have any question. Yeah. Okay, you may continue.
Okay. The next part, I would like to present the measurements of population aging. Actually, I mentioned earlier that there are many measurements of population aging, but I will, just give some example that most important when we talking about the population aging. This is two main indicator. The first one is the percentage of older person, and you can see that we can know that country is going to be like population aging or aging society or not. We can see from the percentage of older person. And another one is the median age. Median age is the when we would like to know that country is getting old or not. We can see from the median age. It means like the age that divided the population in two parts of the equal size, right? And it means like the half of people to be the young people, and another half people to be the older person. So the result would be the rate, right? That represent the age of that country. For example, that in Thailand now, the median age of Thai people is around if I remember that maybe 30, more than 30, or about almost 40 years. But it does not mean that all population in the country, the median is about 40, but we have the measurement how to explain that age of median age. You can see in the next slide. First, I would like to talking about the number first, right? In 2020, as I research, or as I can find some the number from United Nations, it showed that in 2020 the global population age 60 years old and older was about 1,000 million people, or about 13% of the total of population. You can see that, as I mentioned earlier, the percentage of elderly in that country of the total population can be the indicator for the older person. So if you can see that around the world, in the global population, we have about 13%. So if you know only percent, you don't know yet what the meaning of the 13%. How do we know, right? Actually, I have some. Sorry, I removed some. Okay, to explain. Yeah, if you remember that from the global country around the world, we have the percentage of older person is about 13, and you can see that. We can know that how we find that country to be aging or not. We can find from the percentage, and we can classify by 3 level. The first level is we call aged society. It means a society that people who age 60 years old and over, that would be more than 10% of the total population, or the population age 65 years old and over, would have 7% of the total population. You can see that when I talking about the percentage, I always say that the percentage and which age, right? That's why, and as I show that the different definition of older person in any country is very important. Like Thailand and Indonesia, as we defined that elderly people would have the population age 60 years old and over, right? So we can see that Thailand and Indonesia is going to be a just society or not. We can see from 10%, right? Because we use the definition of older person as is 60 years old and over. But any country who where defined the older person as age 65 years old and over, they would use the 7% of the total population to be as the aged society. It is the first level of the becoming aging society, and the next level I can call the complete aged society. So it means that it's like the second step of the aged society. So it means that that country has the percentage of population population to be as the more than 20% of the total population, or in the country that use meaning of older person as people who age 65 years old and over is more than 14% of the total population. This is the second level. And the last level, we call the super, super aged society. That means we can see from the percentage from the people who is 60 years old and over is more than 78% total. And for our population age 65 years old and over is more than 20%. So yeah, you can see on the level of becoming aged society, yeah, it's quite different. As you can see that now, Thailand, when we talking about the percentage of older person, you can see that Thailand has about 19% of the total population. Indonesia about 10%, right? And Singapore has the country has the highest percentage of older person in ASEAN. This country have about 21%. And Japan, you can see that Japan has very high percentage of older person. It's about 34% of the total. And when you know the proportion or the percentage of the older person in your country, and you can try to figure out that percent to be 3 level. You can see that in Thailand now Thailand is become almost become complete aged society. Why Indonesia, that you can see that the percentage is about 10, right? So it means, yeah, your country is going to be is now in the aged society, right? And Singapore and Japan, yeah, now Singapore is is in completed age society, but from Japan you can see that is this country is become super aged society. Yeah, this is one measurement that I would like you to know, that how to classify the level of population aging in the country. And this slide you can see the highlight that I try to figure out that like China is the most populous country in the world, and now the people in China is getting old. Yeah, and the next one you can see that Japan is the country with the highest proportion of older person. As you can see that now it's about 34% of the total population. And yeah, this is the highest number of highest population of older person. In contrast, you can see that the United Arab Emirates has the lowest proportion of older person of any country in the world, that show only that show only 3%, right, of the total. All right, this is the measurement, right, the first measurement. And yeah, this slide it show speed. We can call the speed of aging. And you can see that I try to match between the time taken from aged society to complete aged society and super aged society. And I would like to know that how many years that that country can could be take from each level. And you can see that in Thailand and in South Korea, from aged to complete aged society, it took less than 20 years, right? And you can see in Japan, United Kingdom, and USA, it take it take longer than the country in Thailand and South Korea. For the compete to super aged society, you can see the time taken is quite is lower than United Kingdom or the USA. This slide it show that you can see that the country, especially from the developed country, spend more time when they have an experience from one level to the next level. It takes more time than the country in ASEAN or in Asia, because it's mainly because they, when they learn a lot and they have an experience before the country in Asia. So that's why when you try to match the country from ASEAN, you may see that the country in ASEAN take a few time or not too long when we compare to the developed country. That we call speed of aging. All right. Yeah, this is another measurement that I mentioned, that median age is also the important indicator to measure population aging. And as I mentioned, that this is the measurement we may have 3 levels of the measurement. If median age is less than 20 years, that country is is to be like a young population. But for the age between 20 to 29, this means that country is to be like a medium population. Maybe in the most population is to be in the labor or working age or something like that. And also, if median age is about more than 30 years, so it means more people in that country is getting old already, or we can call that that country to be as the old population. So this is another indicator that everyone would to know, that when we would like to mention about population aging, this is the one indicator that very important. The sample, I try to find the median age around the world. You can see from the map that especially in the African country, that country like the developing country, right? So you can see from the length of the median age from the color, and you can see that about the violet color, or or the blue. Is it blue? I'm not sure. Yeah, is it in the African country, especially in the Niger? Yeah, that country has the lowest median age in the world. It's just about 14 years. So that means most people in that country still be like a young population. You can see the number of births in that country as well. So it's related together when we talking about the median age or the birth rate in that country. And if you can see that most country in the world, it would be like red or orange color. So that means those country to be like a old population, especially in Japan. You can see in Japan, maybe around here. Yeah, Japan has the highest median age in the world. It's about 48.6 years. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier that from the proportion of older person and also median age, it's quite similar, trend. Like you can see the proportion of older person in Japan is highest in the world, right? So when we using the measurement like a median age, it to be Japan. Japan also has the highest median age in the world as well. So yeah, this is the indicator that I would like you to know when when we discussing about the measurement. You have to think about two main indicators. All right, I finished two parts. Any question or any comments, or you would like to discuss some point?
They have one question from Bucahya, okay. About the classification of aging. Is any country have their own classification about the aging definition, or maybe we can compare between Asian country and European or American country? Is there any different classification about the aging age?
Actually, if you would like to compare in any country like around the world, we can use the age 65 years old and over when we compare, because like when I see the report from the United Nations, they usually 65 years old and over. We can compare from this at age group. But if you wanna compare just only for the Asian country, we can use the age 60 years old and over. It would be better than use 55 years old and over. Actually, if we your objective, like if you thought that most people in these countries that's not the high percentage of older person, so you can use the 60 years old and over, right?
I see. Okay, thank you. And how about the life expectancy in Thailand? I see the life expectancy is higher than Indonesia, so it makes Thailand is more the higher population percentage. Indonesia is around 10% and Thailand is almost 20, 19 point something. It is maybe because it is about the life expectancy in Thailand is much higher than Indonesia.
Yeah, right. That's why I mentioned that when we talking about some indicator, it's quite similar pattern, like that country have the high life expectancy. When we using the indicator like the proportion of the older person and also the median age, it would be in the same way,
Okay. Okay, thank you. Maybe from the student, is there any question? You can give the question in Bahasa and then I translate it into Thai. No, not into Thai. I almost forgot. I almost forgot what it is.
Yeah,
in
English. Okay. All right. If maybe no question, right?
No question. No question. Okay, you can continue. Maybe later student will.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
So yeah, I finished two parts, right? The definition and also the measurements. And next part, I would
Maybe your connection, they have a problem in your internet. Mbak Cahya masih bisa berhubung, Mbak?
Ya.
Masih ya? Ini
Ya. Masih bisa terhubung. I can join.
Masih ya? Ini yang dari sana berarti. Ajan N yang terputus ini.
Oh. Ya, terputus ya.
Terputus.
Mbak Sutidanya terputus.
Mbak Sutida. Terputus ya.
Mungkin mahasiswa bisa nanya, ngomong sebentar di sini sambil nunggu, gimana Pak?
Ya, monggo silakan adik-adik mahasiswa bisa menyampaikan pertanyaannya sambil menunggu tidak ya.
Jeda waktu.
Iya. Iya, matur nuwun Pak Dar sudah hadir.
Ya.
Kuliah jam berapa tadi?
Sampai jam 9 tadi.
Oh, sampai jam 9.
Nanti habis jam 12 ada lagi.
Oh.
Harit.
Monggo, nggih.
Ya, apakah bisa dikatakan bahwa penentuan itu kok malah gelap yang tak tutup ya? Apakah penentuan tadi klasifikasi dan kemudian dijelaskan tadi di berbagai negara, kita bisa simpulkan ternyata untuk klasifikasi itu depend on the situation or characteristic the country. Misalnya kayak UN tadi kan angkanya lebih gede, gitu kan lebih lama. Depend on the umur harapan hidup juga gitu. Jadi situation the country, characteristic the country developing or the developed country.
Yeah, hello there. Something wrong with the internet.
Yeah, right. I use a hotel internet.
Oh.
Sorry, maybe have a problem about connecting internet.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Okay, you may continue.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't know when I stop, when I disconnected. So yeah, as
maybe for the effective of the internet, you may turn off your camera so the connection will be better. Yeah.
Okay. Right?
It is okay. You turn off your camera.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Okay. When we talking about the why, why we need to study a population, actually we have many reasons why we have to study. We may know that this is the individual reason that we are living in the aged society already, both in Thailand and in Indonesia, right? And not only for Thailand and Indonesia, but also in any country in the world, like people is getting old, people are living longer, and you can see like from the expectancy from any country, like it's very high when we compare to the previous years. So it's the trend is increasing, and also the increasing number of older persons lead to changing in the age structure. This point is very important, when the number of elderly in any country is increasing, that would change in the age structure, right? And also the rising number of older people will impact in many areas of society. For example, like its effect to the healthcare or social service or the care, family care, or the any program that the government or NGO or NPO would give to the older person or the community facility. Actually, there are many impact or many effects from from many areas of society that I also prepare some slides related to the effect of population aging. This is very important why we have to study or we need to know why now people living longer and how to affect in any area of society. Right. This slide I try to give you the important issue that now starting in 2021 to 2030, United Nations had proclaimed that during that time most country or every country should have like a decade of the healthy aging. This is from United Nations that would like to to propose that any country should change how we think or feel or act toward age and aging in that country, not only for in the individual thinking, but also they are talking about the community. United Nations would like to any country to develop communities as well, and also the person center, to to integrate the care or primary health service that are responsive to the older person. And also when we're talking about the older person, and we have to take care of them, not only for the community and person center, but also we have to provide the older person to access to long-term care. It means that any the society need to take care of them like a long-term care, because now, as you know, that people living longer, and you may know that the lifespan of the people nowadays is quite long, have the increase number of the lifespan. So that's why it's the 4 keyword from United Nations that mentioned that it's very important that we have to concern about older person. So that's why we have to think about the healthy aging. This is really important. Okay, yeah, that is the measurement, and give you to think about the why we have to study population aging. And when we talking about the causes of population aging, actually the aging of the world population is the result of the continued decline in fertility rate, and reduction in mortality rate, or you can see in the increase in the life expectancy. This demographic change had the result in the increasing number and the proportion of people who are older person, right? And as the result, you can see that in some country, the number of older person or the percentage of older person is higher than the young person. So that's why we have to concern about the population aging in country. And when we're talking about the determinant or the causes to population aging, two both indicator is very important. This is the main point, that why people is getting old, why that person is become ageist society. You know, it depends on the fertility and mortality, as everyone may, you know, learn already that two main indicator is very important. This is the component of the population change in any country. So yeah, I will not go to in the detail, but I just, you know, try to figure out that it is the TFR. You may know that TFR. What is TFR? TFR is the total number of children that would be born to each woman if I mean the mother to live to the end of her childbearing year. Is it the TFR or total fertility rate? Yeah, I try to find that yeah, it's quite similar to the math for the median age, right? The country in the African country, you can see that the TFR is still high, right? You can see from the length of the color, and you can see in the left-hand side that show the length of the TFR. In the developed country, you can see that it's very low TFR. You can see from the color of the TFR that is like in, you know, yellow color, and yeah, you can see like an orange color. Yeah, this is a TFR from any country. And yeah, I try to, you know, to find the TFR from Thailand and Indonesia. From, you know, in 1950 until 2001, no, to in 21st century, and you can see that yeah, both Thailand and Indonesia, you know, has a declining TFR, right? And from this is the projection. And when we compare between Thailand and Indonesia, it seems like Thailand has lower TFR than Indonesia. Yeah, this is another indicator that show life expectancy at birth from both sex. Yeah, this is the similar trend. You can see from the African country has the lower life expectancy. Why? The developing country, including Thailand, Australia, and some country, right? America or England have the high life expectancy. As I mentioned earlier, is, you know, follow the trend of the median age or the population of older person. This is the, yeah, I try to compare between Thailand and Indonesia. Yeah, you can see this is for male and female, right? Yeah. Now Thailand for male is about, if I remember that, it's about 79 or 78 years for male people, and for women it's about 81, 82.
81.
Yeah,
Quite high. Very high. Very high.
Yeah. So yeah, you can see when, yeah, from both countries. Yeah. So that's why I would say that the increased life expectancy, when we need to combine with the declining birth rate or TFR, that both indicators have caused the impact of an aging population. So it is very important issue that you would learn. You would know that when we talking about population aging, the two main indicator we have to concern. Birth, that would have many indicators to mention about the fertility, right? And also the mortality. We can think about the life expectancy, the death rate, or median age. Yeah, I see from that indicator. And when we talking about longevity, that we need to think about two main indicator, that would be lifespan and life expectancy. Could you guys can guess that what is the maximum lifespan in the world? Anyone can guess that?
Lifespan.
Yeah, maximum age or maximum lifespan. Lifespan is mean the maximum age in the world.
Around 80 or 90.
80. Are you sure?
Yes.
Anyone? Can anyone guess the age, the maximum age?
Maximum age.
Yeah, that people can spend, you know.
Maybe 100.
100.
100.
Okay. Another one. Anyone have the different answer? All right, I would like to answer. You know, the longest lifespan in the world, actually, we, used to have the lady, from, if I remember, from France. Yeah, she, her name is the Jean Calment, right? She used to live until age 120 in the world. Yeah, but now she already died. She passed away already. But she used to be the highest age in the world, right? But now, I mean, in at present now, who are the highest age in the world is from Japan. You know, now she is 118 years. In 2020, she's still alive, So when we talking about the age, the maximum age that people can spend to live, right? We can say that the maximum age or lifespan of people now is 118 years. This is the lifespan, right? And yeah, this is the lifespan. So actually, I am very interested in studying about the centenarian, like the for both lady that would expect to live, right? So it's really important when we're talking about the life expectancy, lifespan, or life expectancy, or longevity, because when we studying about the longevity, one thing that we have to concern is about the data, we have to verify their age, they have the correct age or not. So we have to verify, or we have to prove by some documents or some information that would prove that person have the exact age, like they mentioned, like the Tanaka, right? She is the highest person in the world. It means that they are recorded in the Guinness Book. So it means that they have some document to show or to verify their age is correct. So that's why she are the one. yeah, in the world that have the highest age in the world. Yeah. All right. This is the longest lifespan in the world. Okay. Yeah, that would be the cause, of population aging. And I'm going to the next part. It is about the effects of population aging. As I try to give you some information about the effect when we talking about the population aging. And when we talking about the effect, we can say that the effect could be micro and macro level, right? The macro level is referred to like in the national or the global thing, or like the effect from not from the individual, but for the micro level is referred to the effect for the individual or the family. So that's why when we talking about effect, we have to think about two levels. Yeah, this is just some quoting message that the increasing number of aging population affect to the developed country rather than the developing country, right? So yeah, for the macro level, I would say that it could be both negative impact and positive impact, right? And the effect could be like a change, increase something or decrease something, or it can be change something. Yeah, this is a macro level from the effect of population aging. So let's see what is the effect of population aging in macro level. When we talking about change, the change, right? Yeah, this is the effect of population aging. It could change the age structure of population in that country. This is one effect, right? And another one, you can see that the elderly may change in the number, right? The increasing number of older person that would have the higher than the number of children in that country is related to the age structure. So that would, this is the result from the effect of population aging. Yeah, that make the age structure in the country is changing, right? For the decrease, yeah, the effect of population aging in macro level make the number of working age, or it means like the people in the age from 15 to 59 years, that it trend to decrease because is the effect from the declining fertility that would make the number of working age is declining, right? So this is another effect in macro level. But in contrast, you can see that the effect of population aging that make the number, the demand, and the cost and the infrastructure is increasing, right? Yeah, that would be the effect of population in macro level. Yeah, and you can see in the detail that is it because of when that country is going to be or become a just society, and that country would have the increased population of older person that affect to increase on the number of dependent people, as we assume that older person in that country would be the dependent people, right? And also that affect to the demand for the health and social care. When that country have many number of older person, so the government or some the government organization or some organization or NGO, NPO need to think about the demand for health and social care from older person. And for the health expenditure, as you know that when people getting old, they're gonna have some they have some disease, you know, that occur in older person. So we projected that the budget or the health expenditure for older person would be increasing, and also the budget for the elderly pension that is increasing as well, and also infrastructure that would have for the older person would be increasing. This is the effect in terms of the increasing, right? When I talking about the age structure, why it's changing, you can see that this is the effect from the population aging. You can see that in Thailand, you can see from the pyramid population that show the age structure of population in a country, and you can see from the base of pyramid population that is changing, right? Actually, in 1990, you can see in the base of the pyramid population that is very wide, right? But when people is getting old, you can see that, or getting old, it affect from the fever birth as well. You can see that the number of children is decreasing. You can see the structure is changing to be like a population pyramid, like the wider in at age 60 years old and over. That is the effect from the longer people have the longer life expectancy. You can see from the population pyramid. This is the age structure changing from Thailand. And also you can see from the age structure by population pyramid in your country. You can see that the number of older person is increasing. You can see from the structure in the top, right? In the pyramid in the top is wider than maybe 30 years ago. It's increasing. So that means the higher number for older person, and also from the in the base of pyramid pyramid population that show the people in in children, like a children, right? It's quite smaller, but not much, right? When you compare to the Thai in Thailand, right? So it means that the young population in your country is still high, right? When we compare to the children in Thailand, right? This is very important issue that I want to list for everyone. You can see from the pyramid population. This is also the effect that it show the reduced number of working age. So it does mean we would shortage of the labor force in the future. This is the the number of the labor force in Thailand, that you can see that in 2015 we have about 43 million people that would in the working age. So it means the people who age 15 to 59 years. And you can see that is it project that for the next 10 years, right, is increasing, the number of working age is increasing. That would make us to think about the shortage of the labor force of the country. And yeah, we can be solve the problem that in the future we may have the lower number of working age. How we solve this problem? The first one is we have to improve the labor force quality. This is the first solution. Another one, we may use the technology and machine to replace the labor. Yeah. And also, as everyone know that in the future, the number of older person is increasing, right? So we may retrain those who are getting old already, to be in the labor force, because they, it looks like they still be young, right? They still can be active. They still can be work. So we may retain those people in the labor force. This is the solve of the reduced number of working age. And also we also have to import some migrant workers from other country to work in the country. And also investing pro-natalist policy. That means we have to have the policy to increase the number of births in that country. But however, this policy, is quite difficult to give the policy. Is actually for some country have the policy, but it is difficult because of there are still some personal reason that if that person have to have the baby, and how to take care of them until they are going, until they are they can work, and they have to think about demand and supply in the family. So that would it's very difficult to think about the pro-natalist policy. Yeah, this is for solution when we think about the how to solve the problem that we in the future we will have the less number of working age in that country, right? And for the effect that I show that the population aging would affect to the both individual and government expense in aging society. So yeah, however, for the when we need to increase the expenditure for taking care of the elderly, it is because we have to secure people's income in the old age, and also it is for health security for the elderly people in that country. So it seems like it's the negative effect, but we have to think about the health security for the older person as well. So that's why this is the general issue that the government have to think about, that how to evaluate the budget for older person in the future, right? Yeah, not only for the negative impact, but also we also have the positive impact in macro level for the country in that become a just society. So I would say that the increasing number of older persons that provide the companies with new market opportunity, right? And you can see that we may have the specialist product for the elderly. Yeah, this is the first one that would be like a positive impact when that people, become a just society. And also we may have the growing job opportunity in care home or the shelter accommodation. Yeah. And also about the construction opportunity that, we can build some home, retirement home, and some flat home for older person. And also some company are utilizing the knowledge and the experience for an older workforce. Yeah, so that are the positive impact in macro level. Yeah, this is some detail that I thought that not only for the negative impact, but also we have the positive impact in business for older person, right? And you can see that we have to think about the medicine and health. Yeah, business for medicine and health. Yeah, that you can see that we may have the elderly care center in the wellness setting or in the private hospital or government hospital and private sector setting, right? And also in the furniture for older person. For example, the chair or electrical base for older person. We need to think about the home design, or we can call like universal design that that have some special home design for older person, that including like a house structure. Yeah, it's like the how to design the house for older person in the future. And also for the finance, we have to think about the financial security in the people who already retired age, right? For the good quality of life, and also the tourism that maybe we have to think about the business like health tours or elderly tours. Yeah, because when the number of younger people in the country is decreasing, while the number of older person is increasing, we have to think about the travel or tourism for older person, right? So this is the I can say that it would be positive impact in terms of the business for the older person, right? It's another way when we talking about the reduced number of the baby and children. So yeah, actually there are many effects, right? So it's increasing that we have to think about the need, right, for school and school teacher that would have, have low, how we say, low demand, right? The demand may be lower than before, right? Because of the number of baby is decreasing, and also the industry will provide product for children, right? And in the long term, the company may have difficult recruiting young workers because we have many elderly people in country. So it's difficult to find the younger people who work in the company. So we have to think about how to support the older person to be like working people in the company. Yeah, and also the economically active group gets smaller, right? and we have to support the global dependent population. So that is the effect for population aging in country, right? All right, I finished the macro level for the effect of older of population aging. For the micro level, I would say in the same way that I can talking in a change in need and increase that would have the effect in micro level for people, for the individual setting, right? And it would have both negative and positive impact. Yeah, and you can see that actually for the effect of population aging in micro level, its effect to the family structure that you can see that the membership in the family would have lower, like in the past you can see that one the one family have many number of family, right? Maybe about 5 or 6 members, but now when the fertility decline, we can see the few household members. And also the living arrangement is very important as well. You can see that nowadays the number of older person trend to living alone or living with spouse only, because they most of them have no children, right? Or most of them have only few children, only one child or two. Yeah, so that would have the changing in the living arrangement of older person. Another one is a care. Yeah, we can say that older person need a care. Both, there are many care that the family or some community and for the government need to think about the physical care, emotional, financial, and social care for older person. And also in micro level, we have to think about the cost, right? Like the family need to think about how to pay when we are the elderly in the family getting sick, and they what is the cost that we have to pay for older person. And also about the physical health, that you can see that when we talking about the older person, the elderly would have the chronic and degenerative disease, and also the Alzheimer and disabled people. Yeah, the last aspect is about technology that would have, I think I thought that this is the positive effect for the micro level, that would help older person to to stay longer, and they can living without any helper, right? Yeah, it's the effect from the population aging, right? All right, I will move quickly from this slide. This is just want to show that the pattern of Thai household has changed, right? And as I mentioned, that the size is decreasing. And yeah, in Thai people, we have more Thai elder are living alone and lack of family support. So this is the important thing. And also it's about living arrangement, that I would say that this is very important issue, that we need to think about how to maintain or how to take care of them to living like independently for longer. Yeah, this is important when we know that in the future in the country have to have many older person who living in the different type of living arrangement, right? Yeah, this is just go by quick, like I try to match the living alone and living with spouse only from any country. Right? Yeah. All right, there are the negative aspect that we can say that if when we have, there are more and more older person with less and less people to look after them, so the caregiver are needed, right? So that's why we have to think about the caregiver. Is it really important that it may be negative effect in the family, that if especially if we have the unhealthy elderly in the family, the caregiver is very important that they can take care of older person. That this is the really issue that I would like to concern. However, for the positive impact in micro level is very important as well. And you can see that when people is getting old, and and you can see that the grandparents, when people getting old and they have to, they have to live with a family, and their children may have a child or a children, and elderly people may help them to take care of their grandparents, right? So this is might be the positive impact that elderly people can take care of children, as we call skip generation family, right? Another one, I can say that the elderly people usually they have no, like they have no work, right? And they may have spare time, and they may offer the work like a volunteer job to help any people who to advise some skill for free, right? This is the positive impact. And also as you know that new migrants, may move into the country to replace any skill shortage or to help care of elderly in that community. So this is a positive impact. All right. Yeah, as I mentioned that the effect for the population aging in micro level, yeah, that would have the care. We have to care for the older person. One thing, actually, this is the important for no, this is the example for my work that I working for the care for the older person. What would they want or they need about care? And you can see that this is the physical care. And I found that most over 90% of the elderly in vulnerable household were self-reliant, and yeah, this is what it's very important, right? Yeah, and you can see that most elder person who living with only spouse, is mean only two elderly in the family. If one person, that mean maybe male or female have some problem or have have some symptom, or they have to be like a dependent people. So another one, like maybe their I mean what's that? Their spouse have to take care of their another one. It is very important that we can find in the country, right? Yeah. Another one, another care this is the sample of the emotional care. Yeah, that most elderly, they want a care, especially for the elderly who living alone, that they really need the elderly care. So yeah, this is the what is that? The it seems like the solution that that help people have a good emotional care, like the committee or headship in the committee need to visit the elderly in the committee, right? And also they can use telephone call when they feel some sad or like some problem in their emotional. Yeah, it's really important, right? And also the financial care is very important, right? This is some example in for my field. And also social care, right? Yeah, it's like they need some activity and care from neighbor and some people in the community, right? Yeah, and I in my study I found that the neighbors or neighborhoods are the key informants to be familiar and taking care of elderly people, right? Especially for the elderly who have no counsel, who have no children, and they have to living alone. So the neighbors is a very important key informant to take care of them, right? Yeah. So regarding my presentation, this is it seems like the quite summary that you can see the example of relationship between population aging and health, and population aging lead to increasing demand on healthcare service, and in the aged society we can foresee the increasing prevalence of the elderly, right? Specific disease, especially degenerative disease such as Alzheimer, cardiovascular, something diabetes, stroke, depression, yeah, something like that. So these elderly disease are chronic by nature, which need long-term care. So I also put the health problem in this box just to say that the health promotion among older persons can help reduce the demand on healthcare service. So in this slide is my related in your concern, because we are in the public health, right? Yeah, this is the effect that we have to think about. Yeah, and also this is the yeah, like we have the pillar, right? Like participation in the community that are the one pillar of the active aging. It would be help elderly people to have a good emotional and have a good participation in the country, in that area, like this is the example in the Thailand, right? Most older person being a member of senior citizen, and we have a club or activity group, and also we have a school for the elderly, and also we have mentioned or thinking about the aging in place. That means we expect that how to improve or how to let the older person to live in their house until they die, right? Yeah. So yeah, this is the 4 jigsaw that would be a heart of the elderly care. is including good neighborhood, good community, good family, and good environment. So that is the finding that I find from my study that I would like to share you all. That is the what we should think about when we studying about the elderly care. And yeah, this is the related to the living arrangement of older person that I mentioned that yeah, there are the number of elderly people who have the living alone. There are many, but finally elderly people may be not living alone because they may move to live with their children or relatives, and for the older person who who have the money, right? They may move to live. They may ask for the care from the nurse, and also this is another one type of living arrangement that I found that some older person who living with pet that help them to have a good emotional, right? Yeah, this is another one that would have the positive impact for population aging. That you can see that we have many technology, right, that lead the way in caring for the elderly. Actually, I have put some what's that, YouTube like a video to show you, but maybe if we still have some time, I can show you later. All right, this is the summary that you can see that the increasing of older person, it showed that the rapid aging of population aging, right? And you can see that as the number of older person is increasing, maybe in the future, for some country, the number of elder person be outnumber younger people, right? And this is just mentioned about the proportion of people who at 80 years old and over is more likely to grow rapidly than people at 60 years old and over. That would have that would show the people are living longer. Yeah, and you can see that you can project that older person will be crowded in the near future due to the high number of elderly. Why the number of working age would be reduced. The main important thing, like the caregiver, is is main need in the future when people are aging. So this is 3 security for older person that I would share you all. The first one is the security in income that would help elderly can living longer, and security in health that would promotion of healthy and active life, and also security in living arrangement that they need living with caregiver or caregiving system. Yeah, this is just like a summary that you already learned that. Yeah, and finally, yeah, I would give the question that how to encourage the older person to be as living independent as long as possible when they need the caregiver, right? This is all my presentation that I would share for this class. Hope it would benefit for everyone. All right, thank you very much.
It is very interesting presentation. It makes us to open our mind that there are many opportunities to develop a research, to develop a project to help our elderly in the near future. There is 2 questions from the chat room. Maybe you can read from the chat room.
Okay.
First from the Cahya.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the question asking about how declining birth rate gives the impact on the aging population, right? Yeah, it seems like when we if if anyone looking about the demographic transition, right? And you can see that it's like the transit. Most country would transit from the high birth, high rate, right? Yeah, the signal is still okay, right?
As the signal is still okay.
All right. Yeah. So it seems like the indicator like the birth rate and the death rate would have be like when that country would have low mortality and it would have like low fertility as well. So that would be the impact on aging population or people in that country is getting old when the rate of the birth rate or death rate in that country is reducing. So that is the demographic transition that occur in any country. So that I mentioned that this is the important cause of population aging in the country. Yeah, it would be happen in any country, right? From the high birth and high death rate, and after that, when the mortality is declining, right, and the birth would be declining, and until that country, the birth and the death is the birth and death rate is quite low, so that make the impact on the population aging in that country. Yeah, this is in the general. Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah.
For the second, yes. For the second
Yeah.
question.
There is any cultural belief in Thailand that could affect aging society? Cultural belief, right? Actually, it is not cultural belief, but I think any country encounter the population aging when when the country have the progression or the development in medical and public health, and yeah, maybe I can say that now the couple in the family, including some younger people, believe that they don't want to have to get married, or they don't want to have some baby. So that, and also including that we have the high technology, or we have some innovation that would make people can live longer, right? And also they have a good hygiene, so that make people living longer. Yeah, that's why it's like a general context that everyone can, can encounter to be like a living longer. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that the younger people in any country think about the how think about the delay marriage, and also having a baby. Yeah, this is like the attitude or the traditional belief that most of them uh, don't want to get married. That make the number of birth in a country have decreasing, and people living longer, right?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for the last question. For the last question.
Quality of life.
The quality of life.
quality of life. In several countries, I think.
Or maybe in Asian country, you may compare some.
Yeah, I think quality of life related to the one thing for the macro level, it depends on the policy in the country, right? That would have some promote or support or care, have the policy like a long-term care for the older person. Like in Thailand, we propose the policy about long-term care for the older person. We have some some activity to promote or to support their health. So that would be like the quality of life in for older person. And I'm pretty sure that when we are in the in the 20th century, that we would have some technologies or some innovation that would help elderly people can live longer, and they can living alone without any membership in the household. So that would help the quality of life of older person it better than before, that we don't have a good technology to take care of them. Yeah, I'm still believe that the technology would help elderly people to have a good quality of life in the future. Yeah.
Okay, I think it is already many questions, and also some students do not have any question anymore, and no question. No question. Okay, later we will discuss. And Bu Cahya, Ajan, and will leave our meeting because she has to check out from the hotel. Okay. But however, it is
Right.
very interesting meeting, and also very interesting lecture. And many students after this, we will discuss among us and among the student and the lecturer. And then for Ajan N, we would like to thank you very much for your opportunity to give us the wider point of view about the elderly. Maybe later we can make collaboration, research collaboration, and also maybe some student would like to write something about the elderly. We will invite you to join with this occasion. So for this evening, from the Bu Cahya as the head of Department of Biostatistics and Population Study, would like to thank you, and also our Dean, Pak Budiono, would like to thank you for your opportunity to give us the lecture. Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon. And maybe for the last time, we would like to take a picture.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ka. So
Yeah.
hope
see you next time
in the future.
Okay, see you next time.
Maybe
Okay, see you next time.
Situation is better, I will try to see you in the university.
Okay, I miss very much
Alright.
Thai. I miss very much Salaya. Maybe after the COVID, I will visit Salaya. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah,
See you
please
soon.
come.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Terima
Thank you.
kasih.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye bye. You may leave the screen.
Bye.
Bye.
So you wanna take a photo or what?
Already.
Oh, you already take. Oh, okay.
Already.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye bye. See you.
Bye bye. See you.
See you.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Okay, Pak Farid.
Okay, terima kasih.
Continue the discuss.
Ya. Terima kasih Bu Cahya, adik-adik sekalian. Itu tadi kita ikuti guest lecturer, kuliah dosen tamu kita siang ini. Mungkin ada pertanyaan atau ada sesuatu yang kita diskusikan di sini. Tadi Bu Cahya memberikan masukan, atau Bu Cahya bisa disampaikan, Bu Cahya, monggo.
Oke. Ya.
Iya, monggo.
Ya, bentar. Oke. Yang ini ya, menindaklanjuti atau kita akan membahas menanggapi dari materi yang disampaikan oleh Bu Sukida. Mungkin teman-teman mahasiswa bisa istilahnya ya namanya menanggapi ya. Coba kita tadi kan sudah mendengar beberapa yang disampaikan, terkhususnya berkaitan dengan dampak peningkatan para lansia ya. Jadi kalau satu negara itu banyak lansianya, maka kan kemudian akan berdampak pada beberapa kebutuhan, misalnya pelayanan kesehatan, kemudian infrastruktur. Nah, yang menarik tadi juga disinggung teknologi. Dengan meningkatnya jumlah lansia, maka berdampak pada teknologi. Nah, mungkin ini bisa didiskusikan. Kira-kira kebutuhan pelayanan kesehatan apa yang menurut para generasi Z nih, ya, para mahasiswa, kemudian infrastruktur dan teknologi yang seperti apa. Tadi memang disinggung ada gambar ya dengan kebutuhan teknologi untuk peralatan makan, kemudian mungkin teknologi berkaitan dengan kalau saya mikirnya sih transportasi, kemudian akses ke pelayanan kesehatan. Jadi bagaimana itu menjadi dampak dari peningkatan elderly di satu negara. Itu aja sih Pak Farid yang mungkin bisa didiskusikan.
Silakan adik-adik bisa memberikan respon tentang dari yang ditanyakan oleh Bu Cahya tadi ya. Silakan atau saya tunjuk aja.
Sebut nama ya Pak, nanti saya kan ini ada penilaian di ini toh, aktivitas di mata kuliah ini apa?
Ya, ada aktivitas di mata
di demografi sosial ataupun di cash flow ini.
Ya, silakan Novi Julia bisa menjawab. Novi Julia, silakan bisa merespon. Tidak ada orang ya?
Apa enggak?
Tidak ada orangnya. Rita silakan. Rita Laila, silakan diberikan respon.
Itu video nggak bisa hidup ya?
Video tergantung orangnya.
Nggak bisa, saya klik nggak mau.
Pak Ternintong.
Diklik itu Pak.
Nggak mau.
Bisa, Pak.
Saya klik malah komennya cannot start video ini.
Oh, mungkin waktu download Pak.
Nggak masalah kok Pak. Ini
atau waktu bergabung.
Oh, waktu ya wes nggak apa-apa. Yang ada mahasiswanya itu mana?
Ya, ayo, Rita.
Nggak apa-apa Mas, ini kesempatan Mbak.
Kesempatan, silakan.
Ini mata kuliah ANSI dan manajemen basis data sudah saya geser, jadi mestinya hadir di pertemuan saat ini ya. Sudah tidak ada lagi alasan kuliah, kok?
Iya.
Ya, silakan. Silakan direspon.
Tanggapan terkait tadi ya Pak, aging populasi, aging yang cepat itu ya Pak ya?
Ya.
Aging yang cepat.
Maaf Bu, tadi pertanyaannya, soalnya ini Bu sinyalnya jelek ya dari tadi putus-putus. Ini baru tanya ke teman pertanyaannya apa gitu.
Tapi bukan putus cinta loh ya.
Jadi untuk pertanyaannya gimana ya Bu? Ya mohon maaf Bu. Bisa
Budaya share di room chat ya.
Oh enggak Bu.
Dampak elderly pada kebutuhan pelayanan kesehatan, infrastruktur, dan sebagainya.
Boleh salah satu Mbak, mungkin.
Silakan langsung aja direspon.
Mungkin salah satu dari 3 itu boleh Mbak Rita. Misalnya menurut Mbak Rita dampak peningkatan elderly pada kebutuhan pelayanan kesehatan itu misalnya apa? Nanti yang lain mungkin pada kebutuhan infrastruktur. Terus ada kebutuhan teknologi, kan banyak tadi. Boleh salah satu. Nanti yang lain bisa menyiapkan untuk bahan diskusinya ya.
Izin menjawab ya Bu ya. Menurut saya mungkin karena sebagian besar kalau lansia kita lihat di Indonesia itu semakin tinggi umur seseorang itu kan biasanya ini ya Bu ya, muncullah penyakit-penyakit degeneratif. Nah, sehingga kebutuhan pelayanan kesehatan itu harus lebih fokus terhadap bagaimana pencegahan terhadap timbulnya penyakit itu pada lansia mungkin. Jadi lansia-lansia itu bisa tetap hidup sehat dan juga memiliki angka harapan hidup yang tinggi. Mungkin seperti itu, Bu. Terima kasih.
Kebutuhan pelayanan kesehatannya.
Oke. Yang lain silakan respon. Adila. Silakan Adila.
Iya, halo Pak.
Ya, silakan. Oh, nggak ada orangnya. Tifal, silakan. Tifal Sakia. Silakan.
Kalau menurut pendapat saya,
suaranya nggak kedengaran, Dek. Oke.
Halo.
Ya, oke.
Halo.
Oke, ya. Oke.
Ya,
Silakan diulangi.
Iya. Kalau menurut pendapat saya untuk dampak peningkatan dari lansia ke teknologi itu lebih ke jadi kan banyak di beberapa negara tuh banyak kayak lansianya itu sering hidup sendiri gitu ya Bu ya. Jadi dari situ kayak butuh sosok untuk menemani mereka. Kadang bisa pakai kayak suster ataupun ya anak-anaknya, tapi kan kadang banyak yang nggak mau gitu atau lebih suka sendiri, dan kalau misalnya sendiri itu kan belum tentu bisa. Jadi lebih ke teknologinya tuh kayak misalnya robot untuk bantu mereka, lebih kayak gitu sih.
Ya, robot batu wek.
Ya, nggak apa-apa, ide kreatif.
Ya, nggak apa-apa, ide kreatif.
Robot untuk membantu berjalan. Untuk membantu mungkin ini ya, kan tadi disinggung mengenai elderly yang banyak kemudian hanya hidup dengan pasangannya atau justru alone, hidup sendiri.
Hidup sendiri.
Nah, mungkin menurut Anda ada robot yang bisa ngejak diskusi atau ngejak ngobrol gitu kan, boleh-boleh aja ide-ide ini mungkin bisa menjadi ide penelitian untuk apa ya, apa Pak Farid, penelitian yang out of the box ya, ide-ide itu Tidak harus kita yang meneliti, tetapi tulisan kebutuhan robot yang bisa ngajak diskusi itu kalau memang ada bagus juga ya, jadi nggak sendiri.
Ya, pakai chatbot gitu. Ya karena mungkin elderly zaman sekarang ya saat ini yang kita teliti Wijaya dengan 20 tahun atau ya katakanlah 10 tahun ke depan, mungkin kebutuhan mereka akan berbeda dengan saat ini ya, dengan kita. Nah ini tentunya ini memberikan ide-ide yang baik bagi adik-adik. Jadi yang dipotret itu saat ini seperti apa. Nah kemudian kemungkinan di kedepannya itu seperti apa gitu ya. Mungkin adik-adik dari penelitian saya yang dengan Buin yang tentang elderly itu Wijaya, akses HP ya, akses HP atau akses internet oleh elderly itu sangat rendah. Ya sangat rendah. Jadi sekitar 20%. Ya saat ini ya, saat ini. Nah, tetapi mungkin ini nanti kalau kita tahun ini Wijaya yang kita survei kemarin itu mungkin meningkat lagi. Nah, ini tentunya menimbulkan ide-ide baru bagi penelitian ataupun bagi adik-adik sekalian. Jadi Anda di biostatistika ya memang tidak hanya semata-mata kita belajar ilmu statistika, tetapi kita juga belajar apakah kesehatan reproduksinya, apakah yang lain-lain ya, misalnya fertility, mortality dan migrasi ya. Elderly ini terkait dengan semua dengan semua bagaimana mobilitas penduduknya seperti apa. Misalnya kalau sekarang kan yang digalakkan itu kan kota layak anak ya. Kota layak anak digalakkan. Nah, tetapi kota layak lansia ini kita belum kepikiran loh ke sana. Nah, barangkali ke depan kita bisa melakukan semacam proyek ya, membuat proyek untuk kota-kota yang layak lansia. Ya, baik. Kita tunjuk satu lagi ya Bu Cahya ya.
Yeah.
Yang mas-mas ini, yang mas-mas. Sebagian besar mbak-mbak semua.
Firman itu Firman.
Firman, silakan Mas Firman.
Charles Firman.
Charles Firman, silakan Mas.
Kayaknya di Brebes ya, baru pergi ya. Orang Medan itu.
Firman ini orang Medan.
Sudah hilang. Dan daftarnya hilang. Tadi ada.
Ale.
Nggak ada ya.
Nggak ada, ini mbak-mbak. Bella Rosa, silakan Bella. Mungkin ada bisa respon.
Penyanyi Celine Dion.
Ya, silakan.
Dampak elderly bagi infrastruktur kesehatan ya Pak?
Iya. Boleh.
Jadi kalau misalnya dampak elderly itu gimana ya? Kan infrastruktur kesehatan tuh kunci dari tercapainya pembangunan kesehatan ya Pak, kalau nggak salah. Terus merupakan gimana ya? Jadi kalau misalnya banyak elderly-nya, kita harus menyesuaikan kayak gitu, baik dari bangunan rumah sakitnya, puskesmas, kliniknya, terus apotik sampai di jalan rayanya. Jadi kayak ada tempat khusus buat orang-orang yang sudah lansia kayak gitu mungkin Pak, infrastrukturnya.
Ya, artinya ada perubahan, ada kebutuhan khusus yang perlu kita
siapkan. Jadi ada tempat khusus.
Tadi disinggung menarik loh kalau ada yang mau meneliti. Tadi disinggung adanya kebutuhan, apa istilahnya Bu Sutida tadi menyatakan selain infrastruktur ada efek kemudian bisnis and the elderly. Jadi di medicine and health, jadi akan berkembang, berarti kan kebutuhan infrastrukturnya juga. Kemudian di bidang turisme, ya tempat-tempat tempat wisata, misalnya apakah
wisata yang layak.
Pak Farid tadi menarik loh, menyinggung mengenai lansia, kota layak lansia ya.
Kota layak lansia.
Nah,
belum banyak dikembangkan.
Bisa juga ini mahasiswa mungkin kalau yang belum punya penelitian bisa mengacu pada business and elderly yang materinya Bu Sutida tadi, bagaimana kesiapan untuk, ya artinya pendapat boleh, atau kita mungkin lewat Google Form menanyakan kebutuhan lansia terhadap tempat wisata yang layak lansia, dan tentunya ada pelayanan kesehatan lansianya di tempat tersebut ya. Tadi ada berkaitan dengan medicine and health dan tourism tadi, wisata, tempat wisata yang bisa juga kalau sewaktu-waktu para lansia itu mengalami sakit atau tetap ada yang menangani, begitu juga kebutuhan ya, lebih kebutuhan ya Pak Farid.
Lebih kebutuhan. Penyediaan layanan-layanan yang ramah terhadap lansia. Kalau sekarang kita perhatikan di puskesmas, Bu Cahya, itu di puskesmas sekarang lansia kalau antri itu disendirikan kalau ada antri. Kemudian ada ada tempat untuk, kalau itu tangga itu ada railnya untuk menaikkan kursi roda. Itu hal-hal semacam itu sudah dirintis di tempat-tempat pelayanan kesehatan. Tetapi untuk wisata kan belum. Atau misalkan bis kota kita ya, itu setengah mati itu. Karena di contoh Semarang ya, contoh Semarang itu kalau mau naik bis kota itu harus naik dulu. Dari elderly gimana? Ini kan ini contoh saja bahwa kota layak lansia itu perlu kita kembangkan juga ya. Adik-adik yang di sini ini tentunya saat ini Anda bisa memotret kondisi saat ini. Kemudian dari kondisi saat ini nanti bagaimana ke depannya. Nah, ini sangat menarik sekali untuk kita teliti ya. Ini ada Bu Win, ada juga ini ya. Nah, Bu Win yang meneliti tentang reproduksi ya. Walaupun lebih banyak ke reproduksi, tapi akhir-akhir ini juga kesehatan reproduksi lansia. Bagaimana tentang kemarin kita penelitian tentang premenopause. Nah, itu ternyata kalau premenopause, indikator-indikator yang ada itu sangat kecil yang dialami oleh pralansia maupun lansia di Indonesia. Jadi mungkin indikator-indikatornya agak sedikit berbeda untuk perimenopause itu. Jadi kalau di Indonesia kemarin hasil penelitian kami itu rendah nilainya. Rendah itu artinya indikator-indikator itu tidak terjawab gitu. Tidak terjawabnya karena memang tidak dirasakan. Banyak hal-hal yang tidak dirasakan. Tetapi begitu kita meneliti tentang active daily living-nya, indikator active daily living-nya itu banyak hal yang dijawab oleh lansia, mereka mengalami kesulitan. Ya misalnya untuk mobilitas gitu ya. Untuk mobilitas itu sudah mengalami kesulitan usia lanjut. Nah, tetapi untuk perimenopause-nya tidak terasa. Ini mungkin kita perlu mengembangkan indikator-indikator tersendiri. Jadi adik-adik yang pure ingin mengembangkan hal-hal terkait indikator, hal-hal terkait dengan penghitungan-penghitungan, itu bisa juga memberikan ide-ide seperti ini. Pak Cerminto atau Bu Cahya ada lagi atau ada Bu Win? Bu Win, halo.
Pak Farid,
Bu Win ada
tabrakan.
Suaranya Pak Win.
Tabrakan jamnya gimana?
Iya, Bu Win. Wes pokok iki.
Mumet sampai ngatur jadwal. Saya nggak usah aktifin kamera ya. Matur nuwun ini Bu Cahya, Pak Farid, Pak Dar yang sudah bergabung membahas terkait dengan elderly ya. Jadi adik-adik semuanya, terima kasih juga sudah join. Jadi memang tadi disampaikan oleh Pak Farid betul terkait dengan hasil penelitian bahwa memang banyak yang para lansia awal ya atau yang baru masuk ke pralansia atau masuk ke perimenopause. Perimenopause itu kan menstruasinya belum berhenti 1 tahun. Jadi kalau misalnya mens tidak itu maksudnya ke perimenopause. Nah itu beliau-beliau itu para ibu-ibu itu memang tidak mengeluh gitu, tidak mengeluhkan gitu. Jadi itu dianggap bukan suatu masalah gitu loh. Nah itu mungkin itu yang bisa kita ambil bahwa upaya preventif itu perlu kita sampaikan, dan itu untuk kedepannya bisa menjadi lansia yang mandiri gitu ya, lansia yang cerdik atau apa ya istilahnya. Apa Bu Cahya itu lansia apa Bu?
Yang apa?
Istilahnya lansia apa? Selain lansia mandiri, lansia
cerdik.
Ya itu. Jadi begitu ya. Jadi memang kalau kita lihat sekarang ini itu dampak dari baby boom yang tahun 70-an gitu. 70-an kan baby boom, sekarang jadi bonus demografinya muncul ya, atau reproduktif boom gitu, sehingga usia-usia pekerja itu tinggi sekarang. Nah, mungkin 30 tahun atau 20 tahun yang akan datang akan terjadi ledakan lansia. Jadi itu perlu ada persiapan yang matang gitu dari dari pemerintah, dari stakeholder, dari kita semuanya ya terkait dengan hal tersebut. Jadi bagaimana upaya kita supaya lansia itu lansia yang mandiri begitu. Itu aja Pak Farid. Matur nuwun.
Ya, matur nuwun Bu Win atas komentarnya tentang ini. Mungkin adik-adik sekalian ada ide-ide penelitian atau ide-ide tentang bagaimana menanggapi usia lanjut ini. Ya seperti disampaikan WHO tadi bahwa tahun 2021 sampai 2035 ini adalah masa di mana akibat baby boom dulu mereka masuk ke usia-usia yang sudah lansia. Ya, jadi baby boom itu sekitar 70-an ya, 70-an. Nah, maka tahun-tahun ini mereka memasuki masa-masa pralansia dan lansia. Nah, tentunya ini menjadi momen tersendiri. Selain tadi adanya bonus demografi yang mana di Indonesia itu masa-masa ini ya, masa-masa ini satu dekade ini kita memasuki bonus demografi sebenarnya, tetapi sepertinya kita kehantam COVID, jadi kita tidak bisa memetik baby boom itu ya. Kita hanya dapat boomnya saja, nggak dapat babynya. Kita dapat boomnya. Kenapa? Jumlah orang yang mestinya aktif di angkatan kerja antara 25 sampai 59, atau kalau di kita mungkin 58 ya, itu mestinya produktif, aktif, mereka secara ekonomis sangat produktif untuk menghasilkan sesuatu gitu ya. Tetapi dengan adanya COVID kemarin malah kita menjadi tidak produktif karena sektor-sektor ekonomi ya terpukul berat, sehingga banyak sekali pengangguran gitu ya, orang yang tadinya kerja itu kemudian kehilangan pekerjaan ya. Tetapi akhir-akhir ini sudah mulai membaik ya. Nah, mungkin adik-adik ada ide-ide penelitian barangkali terkait dengan ini. Pak Ter, monggo Pak Ter.
Farid.
Atau bisa Pak Ter? Ya.
Mungkin menarik nih Pak Farid. Bisa nggak kita ini adik-adik mahasiswa, tapi nanti yang mengeksekusi ya. Kita buat seminar kependudukan dengan tema peran Kesmas dalam menanggapi keamanan kesehatan global bagi lansia. Tadi kan disinggung ada security global ya, security health global. Security. Ya, health security. Nah, kita fokus pada lansia nih. Kayaknya saya klik-klik. Ini sebenarnya isu strategis karena berkaitan dengan peningkatan umur harapan hidup dan kemudian jumlah penduduk lansia di Indonesia. Jadi mungkin bisa diseminarkan lah.
Itu ide yang menarik Bu Jaya, biar tidak hilang mungkin bisa dituliskan di WA Group ya. Jadi nanti kapan-kapan kita cari lagi ya. Tentunya
ya, yang mengeksekusi mungkin
yang mengeksekusi nanti panitianya bisa adik-adik mahasiswa.
Ya, biar seperti teman-teman peminatan lain ya.
Peminatan lain itu mahasiswa. Cuman memang yang untuk internasional ini sementara kita handle ya. Jadi adik-adik mahasiswa kan ada seminar apa ya? Seminar informasi dan kependudukan itu. Adik-adik yang mengorganisir dan juga di sana adik-adik bisa berpartisipasi aktif. Artinya tulisan-tulisan Anda yang sudah dikonsultasikan itu dipresentasikan. Ini adalah acara rutin yang dimulai oleh bagian biostatistik dan kependudukan. Tetapi kemudian lain-lainnya ikut-ikut gitu.
Ikut-ikut tapi malah mereka lebih
ikut-ikut tapi malah kita, waduh kok kita kalah ya.
Makanya ini mumpung armadanya luar biasa nih. Saya kira peminatan yang saat ini aktif-aktif menurut saya.
Ya. Ini adik-adik 26 orang ya, kakak kelas maupun adik kelas cukup banyak gitu ya. Kita jangan, ya ini hal positif yang mendorong untuk berbuat lebih banyak hal positif ya. Jadi kita inisiasi, kemudian orang lain ikut, itu tidak apa-apa karena ini adalah hal positif. Tetapi kemudian kita jangan sampai kalah. Mereka bisa bagus ya, kita harus lebih bagus ya. Tetapi saya kira adik-adik luar biasa sekali walaupun di masa pandemi ini ya kita nggak bisa berinteraksi langsung ya. Tetapi kemarin ada tiga tulisan saya bacanya baru sepintas, tetapi itu sangat potensial untuk kita publikasikan. Angkatannya di Bela ya. Kalau di Bela ini semester 7 ya. Kemudian ada adik kelasnya. Baik, saya kira itu ya. Saya kira itu dari pertemuan ini. Terima kasih adik-adik sekalian. Silakan menampakkan diri, akan kita ambil fotonya. Silakan menampakkan diri. Pak Darminto tidak bisa ya? Ya, adik-adik silakan menampakkan diri. Bu Win di Timnas, Bu Win.
Masih di unmute, Bu Win.
Ya. Nggih, sebentar lagi ini persiapan untuk besok lombanya. Nanti malam ada briefing khusus dari Pak Rektor.
Selamat ya Bu Win, semoga sukses.
Amin.
Yang silakan dibuka kameranya, kita foto sebentar ya. Dokumentasi. Setelah ini Mas Eko tolong di setel pengenalan FKM setelah foto bersama. Lalu ayo yang lain segera saja karena ini kita sudah di penghujung. Oh ya, perlu saya sampaikan Bu Cahya bahwa flyer dan virtual background ini dikreasi oleh adik kita di Anis Marha ya. Terima kasih, sangat kreatif di idenya. Ini backgroundnya bagus sekali.
Ditunggu kreativitas yang lain untuk eksekusi membuat seminar ya. Bisa?
Ya, bisa itu mahasiswa. Semangat.
Nanti tolong di-share ke Bu Cahya yang membantu kegiatan kita pada pagi sampai siang hari ini. Akan Bu Cahya sampaikan kepada pimpinan paling tidak ada surat keterangan.
Oke, silakan dibuka.
Anda aktif terlibat dalam kegiatan itu. Nanti ada tanda tangan dari
saya itu malah nggak hafal dengan adik-adik ini. Tapi jangan sampai parah kayak kemarin ya Bu Cahya. Kemarin itu parah banget. Ya, kemarin adik-adik ada kejadian kemarin itu luar biasa. Ada mahasiswa WA saya.
5 ya?
Itu semester 7 kalau.
5.
Ada mahasiswa 5 ya. 5. Oh iya 5. Ada mahasiswa WA saya, WA-nya sopan normal. Tetapi kemudian yang bikin saya terkejut adalah dia menanyakan, apakah Pak Farid ini staf di Dinas Kesehatan Kota Semarang gitu.
Kasihan ya, nggak dikenal ya.
Kasihan saya gitu. Wah, ini kasihan saya. Jadi itu kejadian seperti itu. Ya, ini moga-moga tidak terjadi di kita semua ya. Baik, silakan menghadap ke kamera adik-adik. Silakan menghadap ke kamera, akan saya ambil ya. 1, 2,
Adik-adik itu nggak punya backdropnya backgroundnya
Mestinya punya.
Oh,
Kamu
ini.
udah share nih. Saya share di Biostat ya, Bu. Ya.
Saya belum ganti. Belum tak ganti. Ini pakai HP.
Enggak apa-apa. Ya, lihat kamera lagi. 1, 2, 3.
Oke. Sip.
Oke, terima kasih semuanya adik-adik. Boleh, monggo silakan live. Terima kasih atas kerjasamanya. Selamat siang. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kita ikuti pengenalan dari FKM. Eko, monggo silakan diputar pengenalan dari video dari FKM.
Terima kasih semuanya. Semoga
Yuk, terima kasih Bu Cahya, Bu Win.
Terima kasih Pak Hari.
Sip.
Yuk.
In 1985, for the first time, we accept new students lintas jalur under the name of Public Health Study Programs or PSKM, Faculty of Medicine, Diponegoro University. Since 1987, PSKM began admitting new students for jalur regular for the first time. In 1993, PSKM changed to the Faculty of Public Health based on the decree of the Minister of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia. Faculty of Public Health Vision. In the year of 2024, Faculty of Public Health becomes an excellent higher education institution in the field of public health at the international level. Faculty of Public Health has the following objectives: to produce graduates who have the spirit of Pancasila, competent and have social awareness, complete, communicator, professional, leader, entrepreneur, thinker, educator, and miracle, manager, innovator, researcher, apprentice, communitarian, leader, and educator. To produce innovative research, publications in reputable national and international journals, attainment in intellectual property rights, contribution in solving public health problems. To organize transparent and accountable public health higher education, organizing cooperation and partnership in the field of 3 pillars of higher education. Organizational structure in Faculty of Public Health is leader, namely Dean, Vice Dean for Academic and Student Affairs, Vice Dean for Resource, Division of Administration, namely Manager or Head of Administration, Supervisor or Head of Subdivision of Academic and Student Affairs, Supervisor or Head of Subdivision of Finance and Employee Affairs, Supervisor or Head of Subdivision of General and Asset Management. Faculty of Public Health, Managing Study Programs, Public Health Undergraduate Study Program, Superior Accreditation, Master of Public Health Study Program, Superior Accreditation, Master of Environmental Health Study Program, Superior Accreditation, Master of Health Promotion Study Program, Superior Accreditation, and Doctor of Public Health Study Program, Very Good Accreditation. The implementation of the education program in Faculty of Public Health is supported by domestic and overseas graduate lecturers. Currently, the faculty has 33 lecturers with doctoral degree, 50% of 66 lecturers with various scientific fields. They are health administration and policy, public health nutrition, epidemiology and tropical disease, occupational safety and health, environmental health, biostatistics and population, and health promotion. In the learning process, Faculty of Public Health supported by education staff as much as from various backgrounds, competencies, and professionalism. Infrastructure, building and laboratories. Building A, the Dune Building, 2 floors. Building B, lecture rooms, 3 floors. Building C, lecture rooms, 2 floors, meeting room. And the Building D, secretariat room, lecture room for graduate programs, computer laboratories, public health laboratories, unit room of faculty support, and hall. Building E, student activities room. Building F, student activity center, praying room, and canteen. Building G, lecture room and secretariat room of undergraduate study programs, library, archive room, and study activities room. Other facilities, canteen, futsal field, basketball field, volleyball field, and other sport facilities. To support student learning process, Faculty of Public Health has 6 laboratories. Laboratory of Basic Biomedicine, Laboratory of Environmental Health, Laboratory of Occupational and Safety Health, Laboratory of Epidemiology and Entomology, Laboratory of Public Health Nutrition, and Laboratory of Audio-Visual Aids. Faculty of Public Health has international programs since 2016 in order to support Diponegoro University to be the world-class university. The programs are International Conference of Public Health, Tropical and Coastal Development, and summer course followed by students from many countries. Student activities are residency, partner village, and outbound. Superior programs are Study Center of Environment and Toxic Material, Study Center of Neglected Tropical Disease, Study Center of Reproductive Health and HIV/AIDS, Study Center Public Health Nutrition, and Study Center Health Policy.